Frank, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, young man?
Yeah, all the better for seeing you. It's shaping up to be quite a night on Saturday.
It is. I mean, some of the best young talent in British boxing on the card, and they got a chance. They're in some good fights, and got a chance to announce their and show their skills and announce themselves on a bigger stage. I mean, it's fantastic. Hamzah, it's the first time he's topping the bill, and a real tough opponent, good opponent. In his last fight, he drew with Benavides, who's had, what was it, 29 fights and only lost one of them, and he got a draw against him. So this is a big step up for him. But it's a good yardstick to see where Hamzah is at this stage of his career, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, you've got to say that's a bit of a risk, really, putting a guy who's only his second fight at middleweight in with someone of that pedigree.
I absolutely agree. But as I say, I'm a big believer in Hamzah, and I think he's a consummate professional. He prepares, him and his team prepare meticulously for all of his fights, and they invest in him, and he invests in himself. So I feel that he has, I hope I'm right, he has the capabilities of making a statement on Saturday.
Yeah, and win this and make a statement. Yeah, it opens up all sorts of possibilities. I know that the name Denzel Bentley's been floated around.
Yeah, there's some good fights to be made down the line, but he's got to come through this one. But if he comes through, they're obviously the sort of names that we'll be looking at to make. I mean, they're great fights for both of them.
Yeah, and I was speaking to him the other night, went to his gym the other night, floated Chris Eubank's name in there, and he said he'd like that to have that within the year.
I'd make that in a heartbeat if I could.
Yeah, I bet you would, yeah.
I would. I believe in him, and I think styles make fights, and I would love to see him in there. Liam Williams, same thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'd love to, yeah. It's, yeah, he said within the year. I mean, so he said what? Say another 3 fights under his belt. You think he'd be ready for someone like Eubank?
I'll tell you on Saturday night whether he's ready for him for the next fight. But I think I understand he's fighting Conor Bell, so I'm hearing. I don't know how true that is, but anyway, they get on with their business and we get on with ours. And in the meantime, he's got to, as I say, make a statement and look good in doing it.
And Dennis McCann, good to see him back in action. That was quite lively between him and James Beach there.
That's going to be a good fight. I mean, it's very competitive, the fight. They're both young. They both got similar types of records in the amount of experience they've had. But he's he's fought a decent level. And I think that James is going to give him a good fight. And again, it's going to be a bit of a yardstick to see where Dennis is at. He said he's looking to go out there and look good, do the business, and show everybody what he's capable of. So I'm looking forward to seeing that, because I know he's got it within him to do it.
Yeah, and he got a bit riled up, I think, there, didn't he, from James? I think Dennis would have the fight right now if he could.
We certainly would. Look, they're both fighting guys. They're two really nice young men, and two really good professionals. But I think we're going to see again a decent fight on Saturday.
And again, I think with Dennis, you've got another potential world champion on your hands. But people got to remember, he's only 21. He's a boy still, isn't he? Really?
He's a baby, and you're right. And they need, all these youngsters, they all need experience. They need to be in that gym, training continuously for fights, getting the experience from the fights against guys of different, got different styles and so forth. So it adds to their arsenal. So when they do have to compete on the bigger stage, they've got the experience and they can say, I've dealt with someone like this guy's style before. Dennis is a smart operator, and James is not coming up to, showing up to make up the numbers. He fancies it.
And just moving on, Nick Ball, very impressive last time out at Wembley. Bit of a size difference there between him and his opponent.
I was standing there. I mean, it's like, talk about little and large. I mean, it was like unbelievable. He won't say head and shoulders. I mean, he was head and chest above him. It's going to be quite interesting that you see how they shape up. But he didn't take his eyes off him, did he? Did not take his eyes off him. I mean, he's a real, the old wrecking ball. I mean, he really, he's all action. As soon as that bell goes, he's all action. He showed that against Isaac in his last fight. I mean, it was a great performance against a very durable and tough guy who was there all the way through that fight. But he showed Nick what he's capable of doing. And one thing about him, he steps up.
Yeah, I mean, it was a statement performance in front of a lot of eyes on that fight, because obviously it was on the Tyson undercard, and I think a lot of people who didn't know him before, they would have sat up and take notice.
Well, they do, and as I'm told in my office, because I'm no good at all this stuff, but he's got a blue tick now, so obviously they are.
Well, that's what it's all about. Just finally on this card, Clark Heffron, I mean, that's got banger written all over it.
I mean, that's going to be a war. that will be a war, and it's a crossroads fight for Mark. You know, if Mark's going to be fighting at any level in this sport, he's got to beat Lennox, and Lennox coming off of that great win that he had against Willie Hutchinson, where he went in as an underdog and absolutely, ripped the titles away. He's got to get himself back out there again. He's been inactive through various injuries. He's had some bad injuries, but now he's back, and I think, as you say, it's got war written all over it. It's going to be a hell of a fight.
Okay, before we let you go, just a word on your other fighters update. Tyson Fury, first of all. I mean, we're hearing all sorts of things from him. Going to be fighting the Mountain from Game of Thrones. Going to be fighting the winner of AJ Usyk. Where do you think the truth is there?
I don't know yet. I'm talking to him I speak to him every day. At the moment, he's doing his tour. He's on his tour, so he's got to get that out of the way first. And who knows? There may be a surprise announcement.
Oh, that sounds intriguing. Are you going to give us is that little teaser, or are you going to give us a bit more?
That'll take away the surprise.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously, the smart money would be on him. All eyes on in August on Usyk, AJ fighting the winner of that. You'd expect that to happen, but realistically, that probably wouldn't happen till the spring. So, would he need, if he was going to, would he need another fight in between?
I don't know where he need. He may want to do that. That's if he wants to fight. With Tyson, you don't know what he wants to do. But if he wants to fight, he's the guy who's going to make a choice. He's the leader of the pack. He's the number one, and if he carries on, only he will decide what he wants to do.
Yeah. Well, I can't argue with that, mate. And one of your other heavyweights, Joe Joyce. I know he's going out in September. Any nearer getting an opponent?
Well, we're working on something. I'm hoping we're going to get something so we can announce it on Saturday. If not, it'll be early next week.
Is that another mouthwater? Is that going to make?
Well, I hope so. I hope it's going to be because, look, I've got to be honest. I think Joe in any fight is always going to be all action because of his style, and that's how it is. I mean, the old juggernaut in there. Sometimes I have palpitations watching him fight, but he's effective. He breaks people down and he breaks their heart and takes them out, and that's what he does.
Yeah, you and me both. There was a few heart and mouth moments that first round. He definitely wears a few before he wakes up, doesn't he?
I know he does. I mean, you've got to talk about granite jaw.
Oh yeah. Okay, Daniel Dubois. Any word on him? I mean, I spoke to him in Miami after that last fight. He's had 2 good wins in America. And he wants to come back on home soil. Is that going to happen next?
I believe we're going to get him out sometime early October.
And again, tasty opponent.
Yeah, if he's the WBA champion. And he will have to fight someone in the rankings.
Okay, 2 more. Yard Beterbiev, that's still looking good for October at the O2?
I hope so. Fingers crossed we get it over the line soon.
And another banger, that one, if it happens.
Oh, it's a great fight. I mean, it's an absolutely great fight. It really is a great fight. And, if Anthony, which I hope he's going to get a home advantage, it'll be even better.
Absolutely, and yeah, again, a bold move, because Beterbiev is a very good fighter, like one of the best pound for pound in the world at the moment.
He is a great fighter, but I also think that had Anthony been in the ring against Joe Smith, he'd have done the same thing.
Fair dues. Okay, finally, Tommy Fury. He's taken a bit of flack, which I think maybe unfairly over this whole Jake Paul situation.
He went to the airport with his team, had their tickets bought to fly, and he was turned away at the desk over his ESTA. He'd been in the States, I think it's 5 or 6 weeks prior to that, and they said that he's got to go to the embassy and sort out a new ESTA. And unfortunately, the time problems and so forth, getting appointments and whatever, just didn't happen. So Jake Paul, quite rightly, has gone and made another fight. Hopefully he comes through that, and I hope maybe we'll be able to resurrect it when Tommy gets this all sorted out.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, this is manna from heaven for Jake Paul, because he's the ultimate wind-up merchant. So he's been laying into poor old Tommy.
He's a good promoter, and that's what you'd expect him to do. That's what you expect for him. But, he's a good promoter. I mean, he's a one-off.
But I think the more times, it's twice this fight has not happened. But I think almost that makes people want to see it even more.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. I absolutely agree. But, I think it's the first time he's fighting a boxer, isn't it? Next time, so we'll see how he gets on with that.
Okay, finally, why should people tune in on Saturday night?
Because you're going to see some of the best young talent in British boxing, if not world boxing. Really good quality youngsters in good quality fights, and you're going to see some stars of tomorrow. You're going to see that. Stand on me. You'll see some excellent competitive fights, and you'll be looking and following certain fighters after this, saying they're going to do the business and win world titles.
Brilliant. Thanks for talking to us as always.
Pleasure as always.
Take care, mate.